fuck? Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Graps TV and the Sicko Show. I'm your host, the Matty Man. This is going to be a really quick stream, and so I'm just going to blow right through everything that isn't really that important. The only thing that was really important, Triple H opened up the other day, or actually last night, with the I don't see color thing, and apparently that's been a bone of contention for everybody. Just understand something. This is not a complaint that people are making. They just aren't. It's an observable fact. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm spent talking about it. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I'm done. I'm done with WWE as far as how they book talent, how they do everything, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm done with them. And I'm not yelling, I'm not screaming, I'm not doing anything. I'm just talking. And I will say this, and it's the last thing I'm going to say. If anyone in that organization thought that this was a slap in the face, you were correct, because it is. And I'm still not seeing talent speaking out on it. I should, but I don't. And that's it. That's fine. So, with that said, we're just going to get through the results. Hey, we've got 8 people in here already. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I always enjoy viewers. This is, like I said, this is going to be a really short stream. We're going to go results based on basically everything. Then we're going to talk about a couple of things. Then I'm going to let you go for the day because football's kicking. We know that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start with Smackdown. I'm just going to hit the results of most of it. AJ Styles was back for the first time in a while in a WWE ring, and he was thanking the fans and everything else. Carmelo Hayes comes in, interrupts, and of course they wind up in a match because LA Knight said that if Carmelo Hayes could beat AJ Styles, he would get a U.S. title shot. So here we go. Suffice it to say, Carmelo Hayes won by forfeit because apparently in the storyline, AJ Styles could not finish the match because he had an injury. As we understand it to be now, a high ankle sprain. As I have heard in the back, it was a work, and that was a work to put a little bit of AJ Styles over. A lot of people in the back think this is his last run with the WWE, and quite frankly, I kind of felt that way looking at the match. But you know, all of a sudden everybody woke up this morning and said, "Shut up and enjoy wrestling." So I'm just shutting up about it. It looked like he phoned it in. The whole thing looked phoned in, but that's neither here nor there. That was followed up by Mia Yim mention versus Chelsea Green in a dumpster match, and that was actually a reasonable spot. The table spot was reasonable. The trash can was reasonable. Mention pulls off the win, of course, we knew that, and that followed up with Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton, and amazingly enough, Naomi won the match. I was kind of shocked, probably just as shocked as everybody else was, and I'm not sure if that wasn't a makeup win to lead into what we were talking about in the press scrum last night with Triple H. It was neither here nor there, but you know, hey, I'll take a win for Naomi all day long. I hope she keeps moving up the ladder. Then we had the tag team title ladder match between the Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Montez Ford, and Angelo Dawkins. No shock, the Bloodline won. They didn't even really tease it that well. We knew the Bloodline were going to win. It was just one of those great big nothing burgers, and I'm trying to be really, really cool about SmackDown. They're just not giving me a lot to be cool about. Overall, decent show. I'm not going to slam it like everybody else did. It was a decent show. It did what it was supposed to do. Do I think it was a go-home show? Not really. I think this is one Bully could have safely classified as an infomercial for what could be. I do not think um, the overall flow of the show was chaotic, and I'm guessing that's a new thing they're doing now, just to see if they can get away with it. And by the way, guys, if you're somehow trying to send me messages right now, apparently my feed is screwed up, so I can't see them. I apologize. I'll jump in there and I'll see them a little bit later on. For what it's worth, I appreciate everything. I appreciate everybody in here. We got 11 people here, and we're getting ready to move into Rampage. And of course, Rampage is going to be mainly results oriented. I have a couple of comments about Rampage that I'd like to get out there. Matches opened up. Shibata and Private Party defeated the Elite. Crazily enough, that was an unforeseen win as well. That was a shock win. Glad to see that. Yeah, I'm glad to see Matthew Nicholas Jackson, the Young Bucks. I'm glad to see him doing some business. People have done business for them, and I'm glad to see them doing some business. Now, obviously, this was a preempt, and Private Party, they've been deserving to be in the tag team picture for about 1 billion years now, and it's a shame that it took 3 years, but here we are. They're working their way in the tag team picture. We'll discuss that with the Collision review shortly after. Bad thud is what I'm just going to call that one. That whole plea was just bad thud, bad thud, bad thud. What you going to do? And Camille came out and placed herself after that. Well, let's get to the beginning part of it. Renee Paquette interviewed Chris Statlander, who said she was the biggest, toughest, and meanest. Camille interrupted and said she was before, going shoulder to shoulder with her, heading out towards her match. Of course, we are setting up for the Chris Statlander Camille Brickhouse. That's going to be, I can't even begin to tell you how good that match is going to be. That's going to be a good match altogether. Good setup, though, good everything. Camille then proceeded to come out and in 15 seconds dispatches Zoe Lynn. And for those of y'all who were saying that was a waste of time, why was this on television, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, I'm sorry, but Camille came out of that thing looking like a total badass. And the squash win puts her at number 3 overall for fastest matches in professional wrestling, 2 of which came out of WWE, 1 of which came out of that whole Vinci set that everybody was going crazy over, and that was literally a 3-second win. Like, that match was 5 seconds total. It barely overshadowed the WrestleMania moment for the win, and coming in number 3 is Camille defeating Zoe Lynn, 15 seconds. I timed it. It was a good, solid win. It was a good squash win. To put it, to be real about this, if you have a monster, not a scary monster, but I'm talking about if you have a big person, somebody who is clearly dominant, clearly better than everybody else, it makes perfect sense to have this kind of match, and that's the kind of match they had. It was a pretty damn good one. There was a vignette of Deonna Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie demanding respect. Okay. Anna Jay was interviewed by Renee Paquette, where she thanked Will Ospreay for the kind words on Twitter. Anna Jay then demanded someone to try her because she had to prove a point. Then we get out here to what was an accidental but probably intentional mini cheat code. Queen Aminata did defeat Harley Cameron, but not in a squash. It was a beautiful match. If you missed it, that's one you want to run back and get. That's absolutely the one you want to run back and get. I'm not even kidding. That was just, I can't quit talking about how improved Harley Cameron is. She just is. She's just getting better and better and better. Oh, she hasn't won anything. So what? She's getting better. Every match, every time. Queen Aminata, not even a question. Much better performer. Every week, they just keep getting better. That's the beautiful thing about the way Tony's doing this. Now, I have criticized it in the past. I'm praising it today. Hey, shout out to 15 viewers. It's amazing how you can literally watch wrestlers growing up right before your very eyes in AEW. And that's one of the things that draws me to it. You can actually watch the wrestlers get better every week, every match, every time. And that's just a fact. One of the main reasons I like it. Queen Aminata did pick up the pin. I was actually believing that there was an opportunity for Harley Cameron to pick up the pin. I believed it. It was that good. Can't fight good, can't beat better. That's all there is to it. It was just better. Serena Deeb attacked Aminata after the match, and Dr. Britt Baker came in to make the half-ass save. I don't really care. I just don't. I don't care. The Acclaimed, Billy Gunn, and all them called out MXM. Don't really care about that. The conglomeration, Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy, defeated the Learning Tree, Big Bill, and Brian Keith with Chris Jericho. After a run-in, Chris Jericho botches the run-in, etc., etc. I could care less about this match as well. For me, Orange Cassidy just doesn't do it. I'll say that every single time I have to review a match that he's in. Something about Orange Cassidy just does not move me at all, period. End of discussion. I don't know what it is. I'm glad people like him. I'm glad Tony books him. It just doesn't move me personally. Not really that into it except to say that they won. Orange Cassidy has more wins than anybody on the show. And almost as many wins as champions combined. And that's a problem, considering that Swerve Strickland actually defended on free TV on a regular basis and won. I would still consider that a problem. And, you know, that's just my overall opinion of it. Smackdown, I gave a reasonable feeling for. Actually, with Rampage, I was really feeling about a 7 on that. And it would have been higher, but the Orange Cassidy thing always takes points off for me on my ratings. Last night was WWE Bad Blood, and I'm just going to go through the results of that as well. I'm not really... I can't say anything that hasn't already been said about 10,000 times, so... We kicked it off with Hell in a Cell, CM Punk defeating Drew McIntyre. And I'm not even going to call them in order because it was just that. I wasn't that impressed with this. This was more like a callback match to me to All Out between Swerve and Hangman Adam Page. The only thing that I'm going to call out at this point is I no longer want to see WWE discourse that anything AEW does is too violent, and what about the kids, and what about this, and what about that, and what about the other. WWE didn't do a blood feud any better than anybody else does a blood feud. In fact, they did it weaker. I'm going to say that one more time because this is something I really feel strongly and passionate about. They didn't really do a blood feud, and they did it weaker. Oh, but they bled. Man, come on. If anything, that just plays into a different narrative. So just stop with that. Stop. Just stop. Just stop. Not even interested. Not even really interested in having that discussion. It was bad. Don't get me wrong, the match was okay. I don't think this is the end of it. I think they're going to run it back for another one. Because the product is clearly, WWE product right now is clearly creatively bankrupt. They don't have anything for anybody. And they're just hoping this bloodline story keeps you guys amused long enough until they can figure out what direction in creative they want to go. And I know, I saw the video, I saw it all. I saw the making of WrestleMania. I saw Triple H saying, yeah, we had it ready about October, but this threw a wrinkle. No. No. That's a nice try. It's a good story, bro, but not really. No. We're not doing that. No. Not at all. So, the big piece of that is CM Punk won. This is not over with. Women's World Championship, Rhea Ripley defeats Liv Morgan by disqualification with a run in. Okay, that's cool. Women's Championship, Nia Jax defeats Bayley with a run in. Okay, cool story, bro. Damian Priest defeats Finn Balor. I think that was the only one that didn't have a run in, but the Damian Priest match told me how the Rhea Ripley match was going to go because they were not going to let the Terror Twins get completely over. Rhea Ripley won by disqualification, thus protecting her a little bit, I guess. That's what WWE calls protection. I'm good with that. Okay, cool. And the main event, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns defeat the Bloodline, which shocked absolutely no one. Jimmy came back. There was an embrace. And the big piece of this match, this is something I did actually want to cover. Cody Rhodes, that run is over. You're done. And if y'all couldn't figure out that Cody Rhodes was done last night, you had blinders on and earplugs. They were calling for Roman the whole time. The Cody Rhodes era is basically over with, and I'm calling it right here. I think they'll let him keep the title for a couple more pay-per-views before they strap it on either Roman or possibility of The Rock. I don't know why you would want to put it on The Rock. Everybody goes, oh, but he's so electric. Yeah, fuck that. He ain't carrying anything. I know he ain't carrying anything. He knows he ain't carrying anything. Putting the belt on him would just be an honorary run. Because for him to wrestle night in, night out, day in, day out, that ain't going to happen. That'll be a one every so often thing, just like Roman was. And quite frankly, the product can't take it right now. Not in football season, not at all. The product can barely hold its nose above water during football season as it is. And you put a part-time champion back in there, I don't think that's what they really want to do. I really don't think that's what they want to do. They may think that's what they want to do, but I just don't see it coming. Shout out to the 15 viewers we've got. Getting ready to switch over here again to AEW Collision because I told you this was going to be a fast stream today. We have to get up to the mountains to do some work, but definitely shout out to the 15. AEW Collision, I'm just going to be honest with you, was kind of on the rail, then off the rail, then on the rail, then off the rail, then on the rail, then off the rail again. So it was, I think this week, I'm just going to be honest with you, I like the matches, don't get me wrong. I like where the matches are going. It just really felt like Collision was an extension of the booking style from Wednesday in Dynamite, which the matches were good, don't get me wrong, but the booking was just like phoned in. And I felt like the booking was phoned in today for AEW Collision when I watched it last night. To be honest with you guys, I actually switched over to Collision on the television, and I had Bad Blood going on my phone in the stream. That's just how unconcerned I was. At a certain point with Bad Blood, I just had to tune it out. I could not get through the entire PLE. But, I caught the clips. I watched a little bit of it this morning before I did the stream so I could physically say I'd seen it. And then I remembered why in the world I just went ahead and switched over to Collision. Because, I just didn't see the whole point of it. That entire PLE was phoned in from the start. They know it was. I know it was. And anybody who gives it a serious look knows it was. It's just not even a question. But then I switched over to AEW Collision. I caught the first part of it. Did not miss any of Collision. Still got back in time for the rest of Bad Blood. Darby Allin defeated Johnny TV. Big spot in first part of the match. Russian leg sweep off the ring. Absolutely crazy. They were killing it out there. Darby grabs the mic, challenges anyone in the back to come out and answer his open challenge for Wrestle Dream. And, of course, we noticed that House of Black came out and answered his challenge. So we're going to have Darby Allin versus, hang on a second here, Brody King. I had to write that down because I knew I wouldn't remember it. I don't call it out that often. We're going to have Darby Allin versus Brody King in an open challenge at Wrestle Dream, which I've already got. I'll be seated for that. We will be doing Wrestle Dream coverage the following Monday for sure. Going to make sure you check out the Covalent TV for their review that night. I will do mine in the morning, or it may be a couple of days down the road. I may still be up in the mountains doing this while Wrestle Dream is on, so I may be up there. Just a possibility. The Outrunners. Oh my goodness. The Outrunners and the Grizzled Young Veterans. This was a good match, start to finish, bell to bell. Another opportunity for me to say I was absolutely surprised. The Outrunners picked up the win over Grizzled Young Veterans. I hope this is a push for these guys. They've been real entertaining. They've definitely taken their lumps, and they've definitely done good business in ROH and AEW. So it's good to see them getting put over just a little bit more than they probably would have been in, let's say, another three-letter organization. They would probably be solid enhancement talent there, but at least we're going to be putting them over a little bit because they deserve it in AEW. It just is what it is. It's how it is. It's what they do. You earn it. You don't burn it. But the Outrunners did defeat the Grizzled Young Veterans, and we had another Britt Baker thing saying she belongs in the AEW world title picture. She doesn't, and I don't give a shit about her. I'm not even covering it. Willow Nightingale and the Conglomeration were interviewed backstage. Willow said Britt Baker will have to wait her turn, etc., because that's just a natural fact. Willow Nightingale's next in line, and I'm done with that. Willow Nightingale defeated Trish Adora pretty solidly. I didn't think that was a crazy thing. Wheeler Yuta was interviewed backstage. Mariah May was interviewed backstage. Wheeler Yuta defeated Beef. Now, Beef is a buddy of mine, and I hate to see him lose on AEW, but I understand why he was there. Beef put Wheeler Yuta over like Rover. It wasn't even close. Shout out to the 17 that we got. I just want to remind y'all this is still going to be a short stream because I have to get up to the mountains and get situated to do my job up there to help those fine people out there get their homes taken care of and everything else so we can start the healing process. And that's why I'm just heading out the door today as quickly as I can. I wanted to do the stream earlier. It just, the internet and everything else didn't work out properly for the whole thing, and I apologize. I'll definitely fill everybody in again probably Wednesday when I do my hump day review. I'll catch up on a few other things, and I appreciate everybody being patient with me on that. But back to this, Wheeler Yuta did defeat Beef. I thought Beef made him look like $1 million, which is what Beef's supposed to do. So we need to get Beef a push here at some point in time. And you know what? I know a lot of people are against the name and all that. I don't care. He's a good wrestler. He's a good grappler. He's a good fighter. And I think he deserves a shot to shine. You know, Hook's interviewed backstage. He calls out whoever attacked Taz. By the way, shout out to you, Taz. I hope you recover pretty quickly from your knee surgery. I'm staring that down in a couple of years. So let me know how that went. I mean, seriously, because I know some people it goes well, some people it doesn't. I just want to get an extra opinion out there. So I'll be looking for your opinions on Twitter and so on and so forth. See how this thing works out. Because, like I said, I'm staring at this in a couple of years myself. I'd like to know. But anyway, Hook calls out the absolute no one that hurt Taz in this angle. And that's fine. I'm glad they're getting something for him that isn't FTW related. They're actually trying to push him a little bit more, which is kind of cool. So on and so forth. There's a recap video of Will Ospreay versus Ricochet from Dynamite with Takeshita ruining the finish, which, you know, it is what it is. Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly defeated the Premier Athletes, and nobody gave a shit, including me. It happened. So, I mean, they won. So Orange Cassidy picks up 2 wins, 2 days. Not real happy about that, but, you know, hey, I get where they're going with it. The push is there. It's going to happen. It just is what it is, and that's all it's ever going to be. Meanwhile, my boy Lance Archer back there just murdering people. I mean, seriously. Now he's definitely being the murder hawk. He's just murdering everything that walks, talks, and crawls, and we're here for that. Lance Archer is just really, really cool about that sort of thing. Mercedes Moné is interviewed backstage along with Camille. She puts herself over, hypes up Camille. Chris Statlander interrupts and tells these bitches to watch her match later on tonight. Then we had a hologram spot. Hologram. I'm going to pause here for just a second because I actually do listen to some other podcasts, like 5-10 minutes, just to see what they're talking about. Get a general idea to see what the streets are saying and everything else and so on and so forth. And I get it, Conan. I get that you're mad that these guys left AAA and left you high and dry. Did you see your last pay-per-view? It sucked. And they were like, no, I'm out of here. Fuck this. Packed their bags, came to AEW, and blessed us with yet another performance that was just absolute chef's kiss. Hologram Commander Nick Wayne, Action Andretti got into it. This was a phenomenal four-way match. Everybody got some good spots in. It looked really good. Hologram, of course, picks up the win. As he should. He's 13 and something now. He's undefeated, 13 matches, 13 wins. They're building him up. Ricochet's right around the corner after Ricochet picks up that title that I know he's getting ready to pick up. That's gonna be fire. That is gonna be fire. Ricochet and Hologram are going to be fire. I don't know who's gonna win. Doesn't matter. The fans win. Those guys hook up, the fans win. And they did an interview segment in the back with Beast Mortos, and that growling stuff is just absolutely hilarious. I see the point of it. I see what's going on. I don't look at it in the same vein as I look at other matches in that scenario. It was a fantastic interview, and I think Beast Mortos got his point across when he said, "Rrr, rrr, rrr, rrr." That got his point across. I knew. It means he wants to win. I got you, Beast. We're here. We're here for you. Chris Statlander then proceeded to beat up Zoe Lynn just like, Camille beat Zoe Lynn up last night. Problem is Chris Statlander took a lot longer, and she definitely wanted to showcase an extra 30 seconds. So we got an extra 30 seconds out of it. Mercedes Moné, Camille make their entrance, etc., etc. I mean, Camille takes Chris down. We've got ourselves a solid match coming. This is going to be a good match. Now, something about me says this match can steal a show, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm going to be seated for the whole damn thing. It's announced that Emi Sakura will challenge Mercedes Moné for both her belts on next week's Title Tuesday edition of Dynamite, which you definitely don't want to miss. I'll be back with my live review on Wednesday during my hump day review for it and everything. Normally what would be that will be this. We will be doing our review on Wednesday. So thank you. I'm going to be at the hotel. Setting's going to be all jacked up and janky, but I'm really not going to care. We're going to do it anyway. So appreciate all of y'all for joining us on Wednesday. It's going to be Wednesday night. Just so you know, because there won't be any wrestling on Wednesday night. Don't even know what's going to be on. Don't care. Private Party defeats Top Flight and House of Black in a three-way match. They pretty much solidified themselves. They're going to wrestle Dream. They're going to wrestle the Young Bucks. I do believe, and I will say this, I do believe that's a straight-up answer from AEW to WWE to keep the fire burning behind Triple H, because I'm going to end the show off with this, because I said I wasn't going to speak too much more on it, but I'm definitely going to. Shout out to the 17 we got. But I'm going to close the show out with this. I'm going to close the show out with this comment, and I mean this. And I know there are some people who are going to like this on the restream and everything else. And they're going to be like, "Oh, this is bullshit." No, it's not bullshit. Not even Triple H. Vince McMahon, Vince Sr., Vince McMahon, and now Triple H. None of the three of you ever book your non-white talent the same way that you book your white talent. And that doesn't make me a social justice warrior. That makes me an observer of observable fact. When we talk about these things here, I'm not trying to rattle anybody's cage or get anybody. Well, I am trying to keep people uncomfortable about it because it's something you need to be uncomfortable about. The reality of it is, Big E, I think, won twice. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember all the title reigns, and I don't particularly care to look them up. But suffice it to say, Big E won it a couple of times, maybe 3 times. Bobby Lashley had a variety of the versions of the title. He had the Smackdown, had the Raw, never had the Universal. Probably never will get it. He's out of the company anyway. So that's 2 or 3 times for Bobby Lashley. Kofi Kingston is a one-time champion, once. And that was just a shut up, here it is, you can have it moment. And he knows that, and I know that. Aside from that, Randy Orton is like, what, a 14-time champion. Triple H is like a 12-time champion. John Cena is a 16-time champion. On and on and on. Sheamus is like a 5-time champion. No doubt that Gunther, before he retires, will be a 10-time champion minimum. They really like him, and they like putting that belt on Gunther. My point is, the white talent that have held titles have held them multiple times in their rotation, how it should go. And the dumb answer to that is, well, that's who sells the most merch. Well, has it ever dawned on you that that's who's in front of the camera all the time? WWE has 50 wrestlers you ain't even seen yet. As far as who could move merch better than the other, we don't know. Hell, The Miz is like a 5-time champion. At least 5 that I can remember. And they move merch because they're in front of the camera all the time. And you say, well, that's just the way it is. Well, then that's just the way it's going to be. And the way it's going to be is I'm going to keep talking about it. How about that? Until I start seeing things. Oh, well, I had somebody tell me that, oh, look down at NXT. They got Trick Williams, Obafemi, and Kiana Jordan. They're the champions in NXT, and they're all black. And somebody made the mistake of saying Nia Jax was black, and no, she's not. She's Samoan. Just like The Rock. The Rock is more Samoan than he is black. They only even highlight his black heritage on Black History Month, and that's just one vignette, just to remind you. And I didn't even know it until then. So, no, those don't count. When I can say, do you know that Obafemi, because he's heading up there, and he's got the look, he's got the build, he's got most of the charisma. I don't know that he's got all the charisma, but when I can have a conversation to say, 6-time champion Obafemi, I'll give you that one. When we can have that conversation, I'll shut up about it. We're not going to ever have that conversation. And I'm telling you live right here on stream. Why is this a big deal? Okay, AEW immediately, within their first 5 years, built, developed, and crowned a black champion. Why is this important? I didn't really see it for what it was until every once in a while. I listen more than I talk these days. I used to talk more than I listen. Now I listen more than I talk. And I was watching the stream last night with Covalent TV. Interestingly enough, we hit almost 400 viewers just on Twitter. Actually, we went over 400 viewers. I think we hit pretty close to 500 viewers just on Twitter because he was spitting that real truth, guys. The fact of the matter is, we don't have a fair representation of the participation in the process. And that's not being a social justice warrior. That's just looking at observable truth and fact and calling it out. So when we get to the point of where we're having a conversation that Obafemi is on his fifth world title reign, either brand don't really care. He can have two in one, two in another, and a third one. I mean, he could have a third one on either brand. I don't really care. When we're having that conversation, when we're having the 9 or 10 or 11-time tag team championship for Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, I'll shut up. But we're not having those conversations. That's why I brought it up, because that conversation will never be had. But one conversation that will be had is there's a lot of football to catch up on today, ladies and gentlemen, and I really do need to get up to the mountains to start taking care of these people. I really have need to be there tomorrow morning so I can be on site, fixing what needs to be fixed, helping these people out. I appreciate your time. We've only gone about 40 minutes, which is 10 minutes longer than I wanted to go, but sometimes you need to. And shout out to the 17 we've got. And as we head off to the mountains today, folks, I'm going to keep my message the same on the way out the door. Love somebody. Call somebody you hadn't talked to in a little while, because you never know when some disaster like this is going to rub them right out. So talk to them while they're there. Don't mourn them when they're gone, because after then it's too late. And on that happy note, which it wasn't happy, it's just real fact. I'm in a real mood today. On that note, I want to just let everything go. I'm going to enjoy wrestling this week. I'm going to enjoy working. I'm going to enjoy helping people, but I'm definitely going to enjoy doing the right thing, which I hope everybody does this week. And I just want to say good day to America, wherever you are. Good afternoon.